Hey friends, welcome back. Friends, today we're gonna build a very small web application which would be a form, and this form will use Java Beans in background for sure. But apart from that, this particular bean would be also capable for validating the form. So let us check how we can do that. In order to save some time, I have already coded the outline of the project so that we can save some time, and all these things which are in this particular outline, these things we already know. For example, in here we have this particular form. Let me execute the form as well. So we have a very simple form which includes username and password, and when a user enters a username and password and click on login, we show the username, password, and a very simple message, thanks, form submitted. So let us check the code of the form. In here we are submitting this form to this submit.jsp, and we are making use of this particular bean which is inside beans package, and the class name is user. We will check this particular bean in a minute. And then we have these two fields, username and password, and finally a login button. Let us navigate to the bean. The user bean is nothing but consists of two properties. These two properties are username and password, and we have getters and setters for these two properties. And finally, let us also check the submit.jsp, which is again very simple. We are again using the bean, and we are setting the property by making use of this wildcard character star. And this is what we already know, that how we can set the bean by using the one-to-one correspondence. So the bean would be set, and once the bean is set, we are reading the bean and displaying on the web page, and the label is username, and we are also displaying the password, and the label is password again. Well, displaying a password is rather a very bad idea, but in order to understand the concept and for demonstration purpose, we are doing this. And this is simply for convenience, in order to check things out and how we can implement this particular validation thing using a bean. So let's start our journey and let us understand and learn a couple of new things. To start with, let us check the value attribute for input type text. In here, if I add value, and this value would be the default value which would be printed on that field, and in here we will type in enter username, which sounds good and looks good too. Let me execute the program. Here we go. So it will ask enter username, which is perfect. Now in order to retrieve the current value of bean, we will do something in here. Now guys, the usage of this value attribute would be seen by us in couple of minutes. As of now, let us navigate to the user bean and let us code the validate method, and we will keep the validation method very simple. We will simply emphasize on the mechanism how we can implement the validation in the bean. So let us do that. So we will type in public, and the return type would be boolean. The name would be validate, and Control Shift F to format things a little bit. And inside this validate method, we would validate first that the user name should not contain a space in between. So we will type in user name dot contains, and we will pass the character, and the character is space. And if it contains a space in between, then we will return false. Likewise, we will again check that if password is less than maybe 6 character, then we will return false. So we will type in password dot length less than 6, then we will again return false. All right. And finally, if the length of the password is greater than 6 and the username doesn't contain a space in between, or in fact a space anywhere in the username, then we will return true. So this is a very basic validation, and let us call this validate method in the submit.jsp. Now friends, whenever we use a bean, this particular bean is imported in this particular JSP file. So in here we can make use of a scriptlet, and inside the scriptlet we can call method from this bean directly. So I will type in the name of the bean dot the name of the method, and our work would be done. And we will call this particular method inside f, and if this particular method return false, then we will do something. So we will use a not symbol in front of this, and if this particular validate method returns false, then not of false would be true, and then inside this if block we will redirect. So we will type in response dot send redirect to the form. So I will type in form dot JSP. So let me summarize this once again. We will call the validate method, and if the validate method returns false, then we will redirect this particular page to form.jsp. So this is as simple as this, and obviously we need to make use of this not symbol in order to reverse the false to true. So now if I navigate to forms.jsp and click on run, let us check our validate method now. So inside this username we have enter username, which is the default value. Let us get rid of this, and in here we will add maybe steady space easy, and password would be a valid password more than a 6 character, and click on login. Then nothing will happen because we have redirected to this particular page. But yes, now we have redirected because now the page has loaded the default value. Let us again check this once again. I will type in Chand S, which is a valid username, and password would be more than 6 character, and let us click on login. Yes, perfect. So now it is showing us username and password, and it says thanks, form submitted, which is perfect. And now if I navigate back and refresh this page and enter valid username, but the password would be only of 2-digit long, and click on login, then the page refresh. In fact, it doesn't refresh, it submits the form to submit.jsp, and this submit.jsp redirects the page to form.jsp again. So this is the mechanism, but somehow the user is not able to know that what exactly is going wrong, right? So let us code a mechanism using which we can give a message to the user. So let us do that.